SCP-1074, also known as Stendhal's Nightmare. Object Class: Safe. SCP-1074 is to be kept in a frame with an opaque cover, in a locked archived room at Site-342. No personnel are to view 1074 under any circumstances, with the exception of D-Class personnel undergoing testing. Any photography or video recording of 1074 is to be conducted by a remote-controlled drone. In the event of accidental viewing of 1074, subject is to be doused immediately with Class A amnestic and removed from the area where 1074 is to be stored or tested. The person exposed shall report for psychiatric analysis every 2 days and receive additional amnestic as necessary for as long as the onset of exposure symptoms can be prevented. SCP-1074 is a portrait-sized oil painting on canvas, produced by an unidentified artist. When photographed or videotaped, the entirety of 1074 appears to be painted a uniform shade of gray, with distinctly visible brushstrokes. Samples removed from 1074 by a remote-controlled drone have been identified as an oil-based gray paint of the type commonly available in art supply stores in the United States. When 1074 is viewed by a human being, the observer immediately begins to exhibit psychological symptoms similar to the onset of Stendhal syndrome. Stendhal syndrome is a psychosomatic disorder that causes rapid heartbeat, dizziness, fainting, confusion, and even hallucinations when an individual is exposed to an experience of great personal significance, particularly viewing art. The individual viewing 1074 will attempt to vividly describe the image they are seeing to anyone present, frequently describing it as the greatest or most moving work of art they have ever seen. Statements from persons so affected describe it not as a blank gray canvas, but as a highly detailed painting of an inconsistent nature. No two individuals exposed to 1074 have described the same painting. Reoccurring themes and subject statement describe imagery suggesting human mortality, individual significance, legal or moral judgment, and religious histology. Once viewing 1074, the subject will not willingly turn their gaze from it unless physically restrained, and will attempt to convince anyone else in their presence to look at it as well. Subjects will become rapidly disoriented and detached, attempting to discuss philosophical questions raised by the painting of an increased historic nature as exposure continues. Within 3 to 5 minutes of first exposure, the subject becomes catatonic and ceases responding to the outside stimuli. No means of reversing this state of catatonia has been discovered. The subject will remain stationary and die of natural causes within several days, unless physically tended to. SCP-035, also known as the Possessive Mask. SCP-035 is to be kept within a hermetically sealed glass case, no fewer than 10 centimeters thick. This case is to be contained within a steel, iron, and lead shield room at all times. Doors are to be triple locked at all times, with the exception of allowing personnel in or out. No fewer than 2 armed guards are to be posted at any time. Guards must remain outside at all times and are not allowed within the containment room under any circumstances. A trained psychologist is to remain on site at all times. Research personnel are not to touch 035 at any time. 035 must be moved to a new sealed case every 2 weeks. SCP-035 appears to be a white porcelain comedy mask, although at times it will change to tragedy. In these events, all existing visual records such as photographs, video footage, even illustrations of 035 automatically change to reflect its new appearance. A highly corrosive and degenerative viscous liquid constantly seeps from the eye and mouth holes of 035. Anything coming into contact with this substance slowly decays over a period of time, until it has decayed completely into a pool of the original containment. Glass seems to react the slowest to the effects of the item, hence the construction choice of the immediate container. Living organisms that come into contact with the substance react much the same way, with no chance of recovery. Origin of liquid is unknown. Liquid is only visible from the front and does not emerge or is even visible from the other side. Subjects within 1.5 to 2 meters of 035 or in visual contact with it experience a strong urge to put it on. When 035 is placed on the face of an individual, an alternate brainwave pattern from 035 overlaps that of the original host, effectively snuffing it out and causing brain death to the subject. Subject then claims to be the consciousness contained within 035. The bodies of possessed subjects decay at a higher accelerated rate, eventually becoming little more than mummified corpses. Nevertheless, 035's ability to remain in the cognitive control of a body experiencing severe structural damage. Even if the subject's body literally decays to the point where the motion is not mechanically possible, conversations with 035 have proven to be informative. Researchers have learned various details about the SCP objects and history in general. 035 claims to have been at many historical events. 035 displays a highly intelligent and charismatic personality, being both amiable and flattering to those who all speak with it. 035 has scored in the 99th percentile on all intelligence and aptitude tests administered to it, and appears to have a photographic memory. However, psychological analysts have discovered 035 to possess a highly manipulative nature, capable of forcing sudden and profound changes to an interviewee's psychological state. 035 has proven to be highly sadistic, prompting some to commit suicide and transforming others into near-mindless servants with linguistic persuasion alone. 035 has stated that it has intimate knowledge of the workings of the human mind, and implied it could change anyone's view if given enough time. SCP-099, also known as the Portrait. Object Class Safe. SCP-099 is kept in a 1 meter by 75 centimeter wall-mounted fireproof case in Gallery 27. Standard climate and humidity controls apply to this section of the gallery. Due to its property, 099 can only be viewed within the gallery by level 2 staff or higher, and only from a distance greater than 5 meters and for a period not exceeding 5 minutes per day. When not being viewed, the case is to remain shut and electronically locked. SCP-099 is a 73 by 50 centimeter painting titled The Portrait, created in 1935 by surrealist painter René Magritte. The original painting possesses memic properties that trigger acute paranoia and lingering psychological effects when viewed for too long, or from a distance of approximately 3 meters or less. The painting depicts a simple still life, with the addition of a single eye staring back at the viewer. A reproduction of the work currently hangs in the Museum of Modern Art in New York, with critical elements removed to prevent the paranoia trigger. Detailed reproductions and photographs of the original work retains its mimetic properties. Those who have viewed the painting for too long or from too close of a distance become subject to a delusion that any being or deception of a being with eyes is staring at them. In extreme cases, subjects report that inanimate objects are making eye contact. The condition is so severe that the subject will even report making eye contact with individuals whose heads are completely turned away. Depending on the length of the original exposure to the painting, subjects may suffer from this condition until death, resulting in severe paranoia. Hey everyone, if you like this video, make sure you hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching.